Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So, I'm standing here in my pajamas because I woke up not that long ago with the great idea of I'm going to give you guys a room tour today. Like, without even tidying the room, I'm just going to show you how I use it. You're going to see all the mess and basically how I am in this room. It's a good day to do it because I finished a project yesterday. Normally when I finish a project, I will put most things away and then hoover the floor so all the thread is gone. So today is probably a good day to do a studio tour. It doesn't look as bad as it does when I'm mid-project. If you follow me on my Instagram account, I usually post real time when I'm actually making something, and you will see the mess that happens when I'm mid-project. But this is what it looks like just after a project. So yeah, I hope you're okay with it not being pristine. Like, I thought about doing that, but there's so much in this room that the thought of organizing and making everything look showroom perfect gives me anxiety. That's just never gonna happen. Like, I use this room, which means I should show you what it looks like while I'm using it. So you're gonna see mess, it's gonna be a bit more real, and I'm gonna do it in my pajamas. Are we good? Cool. So I suppose we should start with the fabric bit. Let me switch cameras and we can have a closer look at what we're dealing with. Okay, so this is my fabric. And there's a lot of it. Those of you who already have seen my previous videos will have seen that I recently put this together a couple months ago, and it's been working really well for me. So I kind of store the majority of my fabrics here, and there is storage at the top. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail in terms of like how the fabric is laid out. It's not the best organized, but I'm going to be moving house in a couple of months, so I'm not actually too bothered about organizing this too much because I have to pack this up soon. Like in a couple months, I'm going to have to go through all of the packing to get this done. So without going into too much detail, this is how it's organized at the moment. So we've got the laces there, and then we've got like chiffons and sheers. We've got swimwear and activewear there. We've got silkies onto crepes, then it goes from crepes to viscose. Then under there we go from viscose to like twills and like bottom weight fabrics. Up here it carries on with the bottom weight, then it goes into like shirtings and cotton. This section here is just a mishmash of stuff where I could fit it, and then these two bottom here are knits and jerseys. And that's pretty much my fabric collection. I do have more fabric and I'll show you in a moment, but that's the stuff that's on display because this is the stuff that I intend to use in the next however long. So these are spice pots that I'd used in the kitchen, and I recycled them to like put little bits and bobs and like used pins and stuff like that in there. So these ones I haven't used yet, but they will be used, which is why they're just hanging out in the jersey section. And up here we have 6 boxes full of more fabric. These two here are thrifted items and things that have like vexed me and I just cannot at the moment. So a lot of works in progress in there, stuff that I've abandoned and plan to go back and give it another go. And then in these two, this one on the left is interfacings and interlinings and like just stuff that will help me with all of my projects. This one here are fabrics that are too small to fit on a bolt but too big to just kind of be folded into like a small thing, so I still don't really know what to do with those. And then back there we've just got like some storage and some boxes and stuff like that, a bit of camera equipment. And then in these two boxes here, we have, the bottom box is faux leather and real leather. And then we've got soft shell, which is what I made my ski suit out of. And at the top, I've got some hunter wellies and I've got a handheld hoover. And then right on top of there, if you might be able to see, that is 40 meters of calico, which I've been using for like all of my pattern making and stuff like that, which has been great. And then now we can go to this central pillar. Nothing's really laid out tidy, and that's because I haven't tidied. So here is where my HomePod sits. It's where I listen to my podcast, to Audible book, or to like music when I'm sewing. And in here I've got like various things. I've got a few face masks here. I've got some broken mugs, which I broke and I'm kind of gutted. And I've been keeping them there because I want to try that art of mending with the with like the gold, so that's why they are still there. And just some like little jugs and stuff with like things in and like candles and stuff, so that's there. Down here you would have already seen this video, but this is where all my patterns are, where I organize them. So these are all like where the front covers are. I actually recently took out a bunch which are actually these ones here, and I need to put those ones back in, but for the most part I usually have a whole bunch out because those are the ones that I'm going to make next. So that's usually what it looks like at any given point in time. Down here I have my printer which I just recently brought from downstairs because I'm the only one in this house that uses it. So here I print off like my PDF patterns, labels for when someone buys something and stuff like that. And then down here, last but not least, is like the messy bit that I try to hide all the time, but I guess there's no hiding it. And I feel like everyone has like a place like this in their sewing areas. So in here I've got a couple bags full of projects that I've already cut out and they're ready to sew, and for some reason or another I've decided I don't want to sew those ones up just yet, so they're just kind of sitting there ready to go when I decide. Like I think one of them is a pair of jeans and I'm just kind of like willing myself to get to it, so you know, eventually I'll get there as well. And then there's also a few things in there that are like too small for the boards but too big for anything else, so they're in there as well. So we've got some more storage here. Here is a coat that I started making and then it got warm, so I stopped making it, so I'll probably start that again in October. And then inside here is a bunch of PDF patterns which I sent off to a printer so that I can get them on the large printer paper. And yeah, they're actually mostly Russian patterns in there because it's really hard to put a Russian pattern together when you use A4 paper, especially if you can't like understand the instructions. So I'd rather just print them all out on the plotter and then I can cut them out as is, so that's easier for me. And then these things here are all the boards of fabric, and maybe some instructions, I see some instructions there, but all the boards of fabric that I have used so far. I don't know if you remember my Paris haul, but when I did that, I also declared that was going to be my last haul for a little while and I'm not going to buy any fabric. So you can see that some of these shelves are looking a little bit wonky, and that's because I've been using up all of the fabric in my room, and these are all the bolts. There's like, as you can see, there's a lot more in there, so I've been going in and really trying to use my stash and not buy. So this is my fabric area. I'm going to show you what's in this cupboard. Please don't be alarmed. Okay, so this, well, first of all, I can barely open it. Okay, so here I've got a bunch of coats that I've either made or not made, and then there are my patterns. Hello patterns. But at the top, wow, at the top, it is a hot mess. So here is a little plastic box full of paperwork that I take out occasionally. In the back, I've got a few shoe boxes full of bits and bops. I've got some pillows here, which I've been meaning to make a bunch of cushions, but again, coming to the next house. And this bag, as well as two other bags up there, are full of fabric, which I am slowly, and when I say slowly, I mean at a snail's pace, putting onto my website so people can buy them. And people have been buying them. So, you know, if you want to head over to my website and buy some of my fabric from my stash, it's all in there, but it's coming out. And I've also got some patterns up there. That's that side. And then in here, we have to try and get it open. Here is where the real mess is. I mean, look at that. Up here, I've got a box of vintage Ankara fabrics, which were my grandma's. I've already sorted through them, and the ones that I don't want anymore are in the fabric to sell, but those are the ones that I'm keeping. On top of that, I've got my portfolio book from when I went back to fashion school, like maybe 7 or 8 years ago now. I've got my first ever sewing machine right there, which I don't use anymore, and I should probably just give it away to someone. So like, if someone needs a sewing machine, I have one right here, so you know, hit me up in the comments and I'll happily send it to somebody. And then here is just, well, it's a mess. It's an organized mess. So I have an IKEA Kallax in here, and here is where I keep all my linings and organzas that used to be on my bookshelf. Now I've put them in here. Those ones need to go on boards, but like, I just don't have time for that right now. In here, I've got all the underwear fabrics, the laces, the meshes and stuff like that. I've put that in there. Down here, I've got the rest of my outdoor and like coating fabrics, along with some denim and my selvage denim down there. And at the bottom, I've got fur. I've got a box here that is full of rolled up paper, rolled up card, and a few bits of like rope and stuff that I've had for ages. And then I've also got a massive roll of wadding, which I've kind of like squished into the bag. And then that is a Halloween outfit when I became a voodoo doll a couple years ago. In here, I've got just like a box of stuff, which I just take from house to house with me. And then up here is like card and a photo frame. So yeah, it's pretty messy, but it's not the messiest I have seen out there on the internet. So, you know, I feel like it's an organized mess. I know where everything is. But yeah, it's crowded in there. It's very crowded. All right, so let's move this way on to the next part. Okay, so the next part of this is going to be this whole like near the door or between the two doors area. This is the second bedroom of my house, and that is the ensuite bathroom, which we're not going to be looking at. This section here is where I also keep a lot of stuff. So first of all, I've got old mannequin here. She is dressed and ready to go out. Look how smart she looks. I just did a thrift transformation on this dress, and this is a project that I'm nearly finished. Just got to do a little bit of hemming, put some buttons, and I've got yourself a nice little like jacket type dress thing. We're gonna start over here. I bought these hook things from Amazon. I got like 40 of them, and I've been using them everywhere because they're so sticky and they literally hold like so much weight. I stuck 3 on this wall because I realized that this wall was not being used for anything, and I need a place to hang all my patterns that I cut out and I create. So as you can see, I've got a load of pattern hooks, and what I normally do is once I've finished with the pattern, I will normally hang it with the instructions like that all together on a pattern hook, or however it's labeled. So I've got a bunch there. I've got a little mini ironing board here which I hung there, and then here I've got a few my old pin board which I haven't put up on a wall because now I don't have any wall space left, with some Monet on it from last time I was in the US. I think it was like $30 there. I used my cool hangy things to hang my ironing board behind the door, so it wasn't just always sitting in this space and taking up room. And then here is my bookshelf, which used to hold fabric, and now it just holds everything else. Starting from the top, we've got an ironing board cover. I've got a box full of like tech gear. We've got phone chargers in there. I've got little mini tripods. I've got a thing for like all of my camera gear. In here was I used to have a really big pin board, an IKEA one like this, so those are all the hooks and stuff like that. I've got an art box full of pens, pencils, and art supplies, fluorescents. I've got just some random stuff that like I need to find another place. Got a random book here and a knee pad. Don't ask me why, I do not know. And then I've got like the start of my books. Now I'm going to do another video of all my sewing books that I would recommend and ones that I love, but these aren't all sewing books. Like some of these are fashion books, some of the how-to, some of them are like DIY ones I bought over the time, some of them from other YouTubers, some of them are just biographies. We've got cookbooks, coloring books. These are just like all of my books that I've just had over the years. My camera equipment on these two here, all my lenses go right there. We've got carry cases. My batteries normally go there, but a lot of them are charging at the moment. And then in this box here is full of like microphones, headphones, plugs, all sorts of stuff. And that is a massive bag of wires. And I usually take that bag with me when I'm traveling, but the wires are usually not as tangled as they are in that bag right now. So yeah, right here at the bottom is the shelf of random. We've got a big box here which is actually full of disposable cameras which I've not had developed yet. Some of them are like over 20 years old, so at some point I'm gonna go give myself a nice surprise, see what that is. We've just got some random notebooks. I think that's sandpaper. I don't even know why that's there. Sandpaper. I've got some extension cords. That's an empty sewing box so that I can fill it up when I need to travel. And then we've got some like other files with my old college work in it. But yeah, a pretty random shelf, you know. I've been utilising every flat space that I can find. So hanging more patterns there, more patterns there, more patterns there. As you can see, I have a lot of PDF patterns and I cut them out. And then also with the fact that I've been making new patterns, I feel like in the new place I'm going to have a rail and just hang them all up like clothes because this is getting a bit out of hand. And then there's this pin board, which I had before. It used to be in this corner over here. And I had a third one, but it didn't fit in the space because it's a bit longer. So I used these 2 square ones, and I didn't want to make any more holes in my wall. So I used these hangy things to just hang it on. So I kind of did that, and it was like really, really easy. No holes at all. And then, yeah, this is where I keep the majority of the stuff that I use when I'm working on projects, along with a few other specialist items. So in these 2 are full of scissors. I used to have my scissors somewhere else, but I decided that I would just put them all in here. All of my measuring tapes are in there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And that is the between the doors area of my room. We're going to move over to the bit where I actually sew and pretty much do everything else. So I call this like the control center because this is pretty much where I do everything, and it's a mess, but I told you it was going to be a mess. So this is what it looks like. So this table, this kind of like table unit I got from IKEA, this actually folds up and down, and as I've just finished a project, this is like pretty clean for me. So we'll start from the top and work our way down. So I've got these 2 baskets here which are full of spools of thread for my overlocker. This is all woolly nylon. I make a lot of swimwear and I've got a lot of knits, so I bought these off Amazon thinking they were going to be smaller, and they turned out to be humongous. So these are going to be lasting me forever. So yeah, I've just kind of got them there, and then when I'm ready I will carry on using it. That's like 1,000, more than 5,000 meters or something like that. It's a lot. That one's just like normal thread for my overlocker. That is some air freshener because, well, you know, sometimes you need fresh air. And then this is just a box of stuff. Now, the main running theme here is just boxes of stuff, so I'll just explain what's in them. In this one, I've got a punch, I've got some pliers, and then I've got lots of rolls of things. So in here, I've got tissue paper, some like rope for like macrame stuff, and then I've got plastic bags for mailing because people have been buying a few pieces from my little stash shop, so I need to mail them to people. Up there I've got my pressing hams. I've got like a sleeve one and a fat one. In here is literally just a box of stuff. Like, I don't even know what's in there. Let's have a look. Let's see, we've got some shoulder pads, got a bag of rocks. Further down is where I put all my little pin cushions, like the wrist ones. And then going on to the inside, I think I've got like a project that I haven't finished there and a few more overlocker things. I've got a rubber mallet. And then in there is the buttons that I've started sorting out, and in there are some more buttons. Again, I've got like paperwork and stuff that I've kind of managed to squeeze in any space that I can find it. And then here are the books that I probably use the most often when it comes to any kind of like sewing related stuff. And then here is where the majority of all like my sewing notions live. There are still a lot of empty spots, but they are getting filled up. So for instance, that is filled with bobbins, and then this one's all got top stitching thread, and this one is like decorative bias binding, and yeah, there's all sorts of stuff. So I'll sit down like this, and then if I need anything I can just reach over there. And my sewing machine lives inside here. I keep it unplugged because my plugs are usually underneath there, and when I want it I just kind of pull it to the front, do all my sewing stuff, and when I'm done I can do that. And if I want to even clear a room I can clear this, and then I can just close it up and then you can't see it. My overlocker lives underneath, but we'll talk about that later. So I'll have my laptop here where I will edit videos, work on my website, and do like actual work like that is not sewing related. That's kind of where I sit here and do it and look at my beautiful threads and stare out my window. I was doing some filming previously, so I have like various things for filming drives. This is my little notebook, I've got a pen, I've got my little coaster here, which I got, this was actually a favour for a wedding and a place setting. It's actually, it was in Portugal, and it's a Portuguese tile that was, has my name on it, which was amazing. So it was a keepsake I could take home, and now I use it to put my tea on it. My water bottle, which is pretty much always with me. Occasionally you will find things that do not belong in a sewing room, like nail varnish. Now this is hard gel because I get my nails done with gel, and I've got like a little UV thing, so that's just that. And because I've got lots of hand sanitizer over there, I've got some shea butter here to keep my hands moisturized. And that is pretty much what you'll see on a tidy version of my sewing desk. Like, this is pretty tidy. Even my windowsill is even pretty tidy today. You got me on a good day. So my windowsill is full of just random stuff that I leave there to die. This is from a recent batch of face mask making, so that's like kind of what I have left of that. This is a spray air freshener. I've got tape measure and like, I don't know, a stapler. I collect mugs, guys. Like, I have mugs all over the place. I just kind of fill them up with stuff. This one is filled up with old loyalty cards and business cards and stamps and from places that I've visited. A lot of fabric business cards are in there from places that I've visited all over the world. And in here is full of coins and with a little bit of thread and maybe a battery or two. This little dish it looks silly, but this is actually quite an important little dish. I spend a fair amount of time in this space, and if I've gone out and I've come back and I've got like jewelry on, and as the day goes by I start taking it off, I find that if I just leave it anywhere it gets lost. So this little tray is full of hairbands that I've either taken off or need to put in. I've got a ring in here, I've got at least 3 pairs of earrings, and it just goes in the tray, because then that way when I'm looking for it I just need to remember where I took them off, and I know that they're probably in that tray. Otherwise I'll just lose them in this house. So yeah, always got some snacks handy. So we've got some honey caramelized cashews, and then I have my iPad here. My iPad is basically what I have on in the background if I'm sewing and I decide I want to watch something. I tend to watch series, and I will go through an entire series in a day if I'm going down a sewing hole. So I normally have that there, and then my sewing machine will be right here, make sure the subtitles are on, and then I can just sew and watch. And yeah, a random tea bag, because there is always a random tea bag on this table, and that spoon was probably from my last cup of tea, which was like an hour ago. So yeah, other random things you might find. Liquid chalk there in the corner. Another thing that does not belong in this room, but I also, as a hobby, pole dance and do aerial hoop. So I have that there. So that must have been from a time where I came back from doing a class and then went straight back to sewing. So yeah. There's only one section left of this room, which is like this cabinet here. It's an absolute mess, but again, full of things that I do use on a regular basis, so I don't even bother putting them away. I've got a face mask here, got my phone, that's for my camera. That is a scented candle, because I just like nice smells, along with the wax melts that go in the top here. I am anemic, so I have iron supplements on me all the time, because if I'm feeling particularly tired, then I realise that I haven't had my iron that day. This is normally full of little candles, but it needs a top up. These I normally fill with water to put in my iron, and that is like a diffuser, which I literally never ever use. We've got some lip balm here, we've got pattern hook, and we've got some paracetamol, you know, in case I don't feel good. These are like computer things, and then random batteries everywhere. Like honestly, all my stuff is spread out. And then in this thing here, I've just got the rest of my notions. So we've got like elastic, binding, like various, I've got like spray paints and paints in that one. We've got like scissors and glues, and all sorts of things are in there, fairly disorganized. This bag is a bag of bags, so in case I need to put something in a bag, the bag of bags is there. And then those 2 baskets at the end are full of scraps. Scraps that are quite small, like that I can maybe make scrunchies and like super small projects. So they kind of live in there, and they're getting pretty full now, so I do need to go in there and start busting that. Down here on the floor, I have 2 cut out projects ready to go, as you can see. So they kind of live under my desk until I finished whatever's up there, and then I will go under my desk to get the next project. And then that is a bag that has weights in it, which I put at the end of my tripod to keep it steady. Then, as you can see, big extension cable with like plugs, and there's lots of wires under here. And then if I go over here, you'll see that I have some patterns here. Now these patterns I got from John Lewis. They were actually throwing them away, and I asked them if I could take them if you're going to put them in the bin, and they said yeah. So I actually managed to get like 100 patterns, and from that I've taken the ones that I want to keep, but these are the ones that are left. So I think they got rid of all the front covers, but I had all of these, so I'm just going to put these ones up on my website and sell them too. So, you know, if you guys fancy having a look to see what's there, check out my website. So there we go. There are like random other things, like I keep all the glass containers, so I don't really know what to do with these yet, so they live there. And yes, that is a saw. I don't know why it's there. I must have put it there a little while ago, and it now lives there. So that is it. That is my room, guys. That is everything. Okay, that is it, guys. That is the whole and a very detailed look at the room, where I put my stuff, why there is a lot of random stuff in here, because I pretty much live in this room. It's definitely not the cleanest room, and it could do with a lot more organizing, but honestly I really do enjoy this room. I'm not too fussed about it because, as I said before, at the end of the year, hopefully we'll be moving. So we have our house, but it's a new build and it hasn't finished being built yet. And because of COVID-19, all construction in the UK has stopped. But recently they've started to like ramp things up again. So we were supposed to move in August, which is definitely not going to happen, but it's looking more like end of September, maybe October. So I'm not really too keen to get super organizing in this room because I know in a couple of months I'm going to have to start packing this room up, which I'm dreading. Can you imagine the job that is going to have to take? How many boxes am I going to need to pack this room up? I don't even know. Like, I don't even want to think about it. As far as organization of this room goes, I think this is going to be it. But guys, when I move into this new place, I have so many plans because I think the room that I've allocated to put all of this in is a little bit bigger. So I can really have a little bit more fun with how I display things, and I'm gonna make sure that it has the right furniture. Like, I'm planning the room out in advance so that it has everything that I need so that I can work in it and I can edit in it and I can sew in it and I can do little like filming videos for you guys. Like, I'm trying to think of everything and I'm very, very excited. So this is the room tour for now, but the next room tour I give you will be in the new place when it's done. So hopefully I'll be able to give that to you, like, it'll probably be like December or something, but if not, maybe in the new year, who even knows. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Yes, it wasn't like a super pristine like show home room, but that's not really how I roll. Like, I'm a messy person. Like, I thrive in the mess. Or obviously I still like it to be a little bit clean, but like when I'm creating, like, it's messy, and this is just like just after the aftermath of that. So hopefully you guys don't think I'm too disgusting. So thank you guys for watching to the end of the video. If you enjoyed this video, then hit that like button. Let me know what you think of this room in the comments. I'm actually kind of dreading like the comment section now for this. Yes girl, I know it's messy, but like, how clean is your room though, really? If you haven't already, then subscribe. And if you have subscribed, make sure you hit that notification bell so you guys know when I post another video. And yeah, I'm gonna go and start on a new project. Probably gonna change out my PJs first, and I will talk to you guys in another video. See ya.